Hello my felting friends, well welcome to some more summer. This week's video is going to be all about making this lovely strawberry sundae. If you'd like it, we have the drawing in the description box below, the link's there if you want to go and download it and grab the drawing for yourself. So what I'm doing here is I wanted to keep the ice cream theme, so this colour I've got as a background is very pale mint. You can pick any colour you like, but I was trying to keep it kind of ice creamy, so you could do this in a pale blue if you want to do something like that. But I happen to have a minty colour, so that's what we're going with here. Is most of the picture is going to be in this mint colour background, I mean, not the ice cream. As you can see, I've come down most of the way and then I've left a little bit so the ice cream glass has got something to stand on, and I'm just mixing here a very pale blue and white, so I've got a really pale colour for the bottom, and I'm just using the ruler, so I've got a straight line obviously for the bottom. So you can do this if you're gentle, you can go and careful, you can go straight across. If you're gentle, you can do this, just be a little careful with your needle. And I'm just taking the blue all the way across so that I end up with a nice straight line. But you can see how pale this is. It's really just white with a hint of blue. So I'm just going all across. You can see I've covered up quite a lot of the picture, but that's because I have the original sketch, and which you can also have if you download it, and I will cut out the shape of the ice cream from that sketch as well in a minute and put it back over it. That's why I've left the middle at the top so I can see the ice cream and I can match the sketch size, the drawing up to this. There we go. It doesn't matter if it doesn't match perfectly, I just needed to know where to place it. And I wanted to make sure, obviously be careful, make sure you have a little bit of room at the top and the bottom. So you may need to adjust the size of your downloaded drawing to fit your picture. Now this is just a bluey grey because I need to mark off where the glass is. And this line will stay, this will just help to look like the edge of the glass. So you could do it in grey, or you could do it this like bluey grey I've got here. If you have a grey's fine. As long as it's a strong enough colour that you can actually see it when you take the paper off. And then we're going to go all around where the glass would be in that colour. Even though I've got the ice cream drawn there, go up above that because we're going to put some of the ice cream over the top of the glass. So now I'm just going around and making sure that I've actually got that nice and firmly needle felted down, and I haven't taken the picture away so that if necessary I can put it back. So now I have a white, and I'm just going to go all around the top half with this white, so that way then I have the ice cream area marked off and the glass area. And I just need the outline at the moment. So we're just going to go all the way around the top half with this. And obviously this will be your ice cream, so you can have any flavoured ice cream on the top that you like. You don't have to match my colours. You might fancy coffee and vanilla, I don't know. Or lemon, what do we have? Lemon and raspberry, that would be quite nice. So keep your piece of paper, there you go, because I'm now going to lay that down there because I want to make sure I've got the dimensions right. So I'm just going to pin that back down and then go around the top half of that, you'll see what I mean, with that grey again. And because it's a glass, I want to make it a little bit bowl shaped. So I'm not going straight across, as you see, I'm following that line and it's a little bit curved. So I'm just making sure that that's going to have a little curve to it. And then what I did there was I just did another little curve above it, just a teeny one, just to give the extra, when you look at a glass it has that little bit of extra bit there, So that's what I'm doing. And I wanted the glass shape down here to reflect the green from the background. So I've gone back over the bluey background with just some thin, to see how thin it is. I'm just laying some greeny bits just down over it. I'm not trying to cover up the whole of the blue, but I want it to definitely have a green hint to it. Because it would be reflecting off the background, so that's what I'm doing really. And this little curve here is because of the shape of the bottom of the glass. If you stand a glass up, if you've got one that's got a curved bottom like this, you'll see the light reflects around the curve. So that's why I've got the green of the background curving a bit round the glass. It gives that extra look to it. And then this little blue here is because the glass has some depth to it from top to bottom. It doesn't go straight down. What can I say? The glass edge doesn't go straight down to the flooring, the table. Sorry, it's got a little flat round area like that first. Oh gosh, I hope you know what I'm saying. Have a look if you've got like a wine glass or something. Have a look at that and you'll see what I mean. So if that made any sense to you, we're going to the next bit. And again, I've just chopped this out so that I've got the proportions roughly right. And we're going to do the same thing with this, just go around the top bit with a little bit more of the blue. So really, all we're doing here is just drawing in a glass, and because you've done it in the blue or some grey, it already looks glass-like. And again, I'm doing the same thing here. I want a little extra line just underneath it. Because at this moment when I was doing this, I'm looking at a reference picture. So I'm just really following what I see. So if you find a reference picture of an ice cream sundae in a glass, it doesn't have to be this glass even, you could just have a look at that and copy that. And if you just take the steps I'm doing, but with your own glass or your own picture, you'll be fine. So here we are now, we're going to be filling up the glass. I've picked a pink colour, which I'm going to do as an ice cream at the top as well. So I've put the pink in first, and then I'm just going over the side here with a little shading area, which is just a pink mixed with a little bit of the purple. And once you're happy with the shading, we're just going to go on to putting the red in the jar. Now you can have, in the glass, sorry, you can have strawberry shapes if you want to, or you can just treat it as if it's like a strawberry syrup and just put some red wherever you like. I've done a little bit of both really. I've put some strawberry shapes in, as you'll see, and made them look a little bit strawberry-ish. I'm not too worried because I figured they might be pureed or something, so I'm not too concerned. So on this side, because it's a shady side, I'm using some darker red. So I'm making sure that I've got the darker colours in amongst the shade and the lighter colours obviously on the brighter side. And I'm now just following the glass up. If you go over the little grey blue line that you've put there, don't worry about it, don't go beyond your line, but if you go over it, it doesn't really matter. So we're now just going to fill in, not all of this, but just in places like the sauce is mixed in with the ice cream. Sorry about the wibbly bit. So we're just going to mix that in with the pink like this. On here I wanted to make this look a little bit strawberry-ish, so I've had the red of the strawberry and then I laid over it a little bit of red mixed with orange, which is what I'm doing here as well, because if you look at the centre of a strawberry, it's a little bit of a lighter shade, and then I will go back in a second and put a little lighter white just down the middle like that, just to make it look a bit more like it's a strawberry slice. But again, you don't have to go that far if you want to. If you want to keep it all as if it looks like a strawberry puree, then you can do that. Just pop some red swirly stuff in. So again, I'm back to the darker side here, so I'm making sure that all the reds on that side are darker. So down here in this little bit, I decided to add a little bit more of the green because I didn't think the green quite showed up enough here. So this is between those two little grey lines we put in earlier. So I'm just adding a little bit more there. And the same was for this bit as well. It was starting to get lost. The lines were starting to close up a little bit. Now I've got some very, very light grey here, and I'm just going down the edges to make it look a little bit more glass-like now, rather than just have the lines. You could just leave the lines if you want to, but I wanted to make it look a little bit more like it's curved, so I'm going down both sides just with a very pale grey. Or you could do it if you had a pale blue, but not obviously as pale as the tabletop. But my preference would be obviously for using a grey. And then I decided I was losing that line as well, so I wanted to put that back in a bit more. That's all that is. So just keep an eye on your lines, and if they do start to get lost, then pop some back. And this is just reflecting the red from the jar, from the glass, down onto the stem and that of the glass. And if you watch this, I'm just putting the green in a bit more as well here, and I'm going to curve it round. And then the glass I was looking at had a touch of grey. This is the same grey we use for shading, that went around like this, so this is what I'm putting in. And now we're on to the ice cream, and you can have any flavour you like, it's your ice cream. So all I've done here is I'm just going to gather up whites and some pinks and build up the top of my ice cream here. So I found the best way was to scrunch it all up as you put it on, because it makes it look a lot more textured. The wool goes off in different directions a little bit and things, and twirling it like that and stuff and pushing it around, as you'll see, I kind of gather it up, shove it in place. And it gave a more ice creamy look. It really helped to twist it, because that's the look you're going to want in a minute. Really, you're going to want it to look like it's been piped out from one of those whippy machines. So all you can do now is just build up your ice cream however you like, say in any colours you want, until we get to the top. And do be generous with your ice cream. No one wants a feeble ice cream, so be thorough, give yourself plenty. I give you permission to indulge. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make it look like the ice cream is going to curve around. like it's swirled around. You know how they come out of those machines when they do this whippy thing. So this is what I'm aiming for, is to have it kind of swirled look. So while I'm building the ice cream, if you need something to do, would you like to give me a like, please? Thank you. I'm not begging or anything, but if it does sound like it, you know, whatever works. Yeah, thank you. That's if you're enjoying it, obviously. I'm not a bully. Anyway, yeah, so we're just going to keep building this up, making it look like it's swirling around. You could obviously have more than 2 colours as well. I just chose pink and white, but if you wanted extra colours in here, that's fine. And you can see, if you look in the background, I'm not specifically following my drawing now. I'm just popping in ice cream wherever I think it wants to be. That's a dog settling down behind me if you hear any little feet. If you didn't see my research ice cream I had to have, just so that I could make sure I was going to get this right, I will put it on the screen in a moment. And I just want you to know that I took one for the team, and I made sure I went out and tested it, so you didn't have to, obviously. So I'll show you the ice cream I had the other day as a test subject for this picture. As I told everyone who watched my Tuesday video, I just ate the banana split because I was being particularly good, and I considered it healthy as it had a banana in it, so I didn't feel guilty about doing this. Maybe next time I'll try the Knickerbocker Glory, but this time I was very, very good and just had the banana split. I hope you have your sympathy for me, because that's all I got. It wasn't really such a hardship either, so I can't really complain. But I do like to make things that I'm going to have to research when they're nice like that, so it worked in my favour. So anyway, so now here we are, I'm just building up the rest of it. I went along with some dark red under this ice cream that was dripping over the edge, and just outlined it because it was looking a little sad and you couldn't really see it very well. And then I figured we better have some drippy bits there as well. So in between the ice cream here, because I've got pink, I'm using a lavendery purple colour just as a shady bit. And between the white ice cream, I'm adding a little bit more of the bluey colour. Just a hint, it was just to give a hint of separation between each ice cream. And obviously I put a little bit of red with the lavender at the top where you could see, I don't know if you can just see where I did the swirly bit right at the top. So I'm just building in some of these little shady areas to define each set of ice cream. And that's actually more like a grey colour I'm putting over there because it's in the shady side. I made it quite dark, and then I go back over it with some white in a minute to lighten that up a little bit. And if you look here as well, some of the edge that would curve under on the ice cream at the front there, it's got a little grey on it as well. And then I go back over the top of that with some white. So it's just making it look like it's actually curved. So this ice creamy bit, really, you'll have to work it out how you'd like to have it done, because only you, sorry, wobbling again, only you know where you want your ice cream to curve. And now I'm putting on a couple of strawberries, and this just starts off with a basic red colour, and then I put a little bit of darker red on the shady side, and this little bit here is just the red mixed with some orange. And then I will also go over the top with some thin stringy looking white bits and make the highlight as well, but I will show you a close-up of that in a minute. So we're going to have a couple of strawberries precariously balanced on the edge of our ice cream here. I'm not sure how this stays, it must be very cold ice cream. So we're doing the same thing here. We've put a darker bit in for the shading, and then a white bit with some orange and red mixed together. And this is the white highlight that would be on the front of the strawberry. And I've got some little orange pips as well. So I'm just building up the shape so it looks round. So you see how I'm rolling that into a stringy little bit, and then I'm just putting it on and working it round, and it makes the highlights as if it's round the little dents in the strawberry. And at this point we're ready for some leaves. So they're just a dark green, and then I've put a few little bits of highlighted green or yellow you could put on it, really. Just something a little bit paler where the light catches it. And we've been so generous with this one that it's oozing out above the ice cream. Look. And in fact, we have a drip. Either that or whoever made it for us and brought it to the table has been very generous. So I've used the darker red to start with to make that drip, and then I've just got a little tiny highlight up it, just where some bits of it would catch the light. And it does look like someone's going to have to wipe the table when we finish, because it's a very messy ice cream. Now, I did think I could add sprinkles on this, but life's too short to do 1,000 sprinkles on a pretend ice cream, so I didn't. But if you feel like adding different coloured sprinkles, certainly go ahead. It wouldn't really take that long. I just needed to get this video finished, so I couldn't spend too much time. And I thought to balance it out, as we have the 2 strawberries on one side, I'd put a strawberry on this side on the floor. Not on the floor, on the table. And I'm doing it in the same way. I've got some light bits where the light will catch it and some shade. And to break that white up, I just put some little red dots in. You could put the orange ones for the pips, because that's what they are really. I was just breaking up the white. There we go. A few little orange pips as well. And not pips, are they? They're seeds. You'll have to let me know in the comments what's your favourite ice cream. What one would you order if you were out? I do like the soft ice cream myself. I like the whippy ice cream. And I do like a banana split, I'll be honest. Now I thought I could put a spoon in or a wafer, but I thought the simplest one really to do would be a straw. So all I did was I got 2 colours of wool and wound them round together like this, and then just worked it up the picture. So if you want to do something more, you could do a spoon or a wafer, but I thought the straw was a nice simple one to have a go at. And there I'm just pushing it in very, very carefully because I don't want it to come through to the front. A bit of shade for the strawberry on the ground. And then we're about ready to eat. I hope you enjoyed this one anyway. You may find one of the videos on the screen now interesting. If you do, I'll see you there. If not, I will see you next time. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.